Alright. Hey guys, this is Brandon the coach. We got an interesting topic. We're going to talk today about fees. Whether you're coaching or in business, retainer fees. Kind of hit home with me when I saw the question come across. So I definitely had to make a video to talk about it. Just recently, myself, I'll put it. So the question exactly was this. The question the person asked was, is it okay to hold off retainer fees or fees for coaching when it's a referral from a personal friend or family member? And I'm going to say no, no, hell to the no, and no again. Oh yeah, and one more thing, no. Okay. The reason for that is because it ends up in all types of problems. Anytime you're running a business, coaching, development, or you're charging people fees for whatever, you want to make sure you get properly compensated. And in order for them to properly engage your company, they need to pay certain fees, whether that's a retainer fee or whatever name you have for it, but it needs to be paid up front. So meaning it needs to be protocol, it needs to be written in your bylaws or what have you. What that does, it saves you time. So number one, you're not going to be have your team building extensive reports and doing all this other heavy lifting that people oftentimes don't even see for a person that's not going to properly engage your firm. Okay, what I mean by that is this. Okay, you're not going to spend hours and hours. And in the situation with us, we were doing a business plan, executive summary, all types of proposals and everything for a particular project. And we have protocol, but this person was recommended from a close family member, and based on that, some of the protocol was thrown out the window. Now, if we had properly kept all of our protocols that we would typically do with any other client, what would have happened is we wouldn't have wasted a lot of time doing a lot of information, and we would have saved ourselves a lot of time, okay, and a lot of heartache. And when you run into situations like that and you start doing work before you can properly retain to do so, it gets very problematic. I always tell people like this when it comes to this. I'm like, when you're dealing in a profession like coaching or consulting, people think for some reason that your advice or whatever you're doing is not worth the money, or I don't know what the reasoning is for it, but I always tell people this. I'm like, well, whether or not an attorney wins your case or not, and then I say in the case, I say I'm representing you to help you get some funding. Whether or not you get the funding or not, I still did some services that I should get paid on. Whether or not a lawyer wins a trial or not, the attorney expects to get compensated for the services in which he or she rendered. So in business, especially when you're doing a consulting or coaching business, you need to make sure that you are getting compensated ahead of time, having retainers, and doesn't matter who is being referred to you, no matter what the source is, the rule applies to everyone the same way. And what that does is it saves you time from working on projects that's not going to go anywhere. What I mean by that is, let's imagine you spend 10, 15, 20 hours, and let's say that your firm, for instance, and like our firm, when we started engaging our high profile clients, our fees start anywhere from $350 and up per hour. So if our fees are $350 per hour, and we're charging $350 an hour, and we complete 20 hours worth of work, and then the client says, well, I don't want to really pay $350 an hour. Well, we've already done 15, 20 hours worth of work. That's why you don't do that. You get them properly retained, you get them under contract, so they know exactly what they're getting, and they properly engage you. So that's the answer to the question. There, you do not want to do that. And also, you guys, you don't also don't want to cheat yourself on your fees and stuff as well. If you know that you can get results and you got a track record. Now, if you got non-circumventive agreements with people, sometimes you have to revisit. Like, someone requests for my portfolio and say, hey, well, I don't mind paying you, $300-400 an hour, but I would like to see some of the people you've worked with before in different companies that you've worked for. And let's just say I have a company that kind of is in the same industry that this new client is in. What I simply would do is I would pull my client file, reach out to that company and say, hey, look, I did a big project with you guys, over $100,000 ago, and I'm still under contract with you guys, doing quarterly visits, consulting with XYZ departments, and what I've noticed in my record is that I have a non-circumventive, non-disclosure agreement with you. Is there any way for us to amend that? There's another client that's similar in your field, and I would like to use you as a reference in order to disclose that I'm dealing with you. Okay, and usually, you don't have any problems. I have no problem. We'll amend it and be able to use that. But and I do that because you got to give people a reason why they're paying you what they're paying you. No one's going to pay you $400-500 an hour as a consultant or as a coach if they don't believe in giving the results that they want. The reason why certain lawyers get paid the fees that they get paid is because they're known to work some high-profile cases and they know what they're doing, and it's been publicly known that they know exactly what they're doing. So anyone can talk a good game. I don't care what industry you're in. You can say you can walk on water, but at the end of the day, can you really produce the results? And that's what people are looking for. I think people are willing to pay $350 a minute. If the information that they're getting is worth that. Okay, so your job is to make sure that, number one, whenever you're delivering whatever that you're delivering, is that you're delivering something more than what you're actually getting compensated for. So if I'm getting paid $400 an hour, I'm delivering $800 plus type service. Okay, if that makes sense. I'm always going to go above and beyond what I'm getting paid. If I'm getting paid $650, $675 per hour for a particular client, I'm delivering $1,200 an hour of service. Okay, why do you do that? Is because if you're just doing a service that's based on the amount you're getting paid, anyone can replace you. Okay, anyone can replace you because now your threshold is there. If my threshold, I'm saying I'm charging $675 an hour, but I'm delivering almost close to $2,000 an hour worth of service, it's going to be hard to replace me. If I'm only delivering at $675, it's easy to replace me. Okay, hey, I can figure out what this fool's doing, but you can't compete with that type of service, and that's why we get a lot of bigger corporations dealing with us, and we get a lot of regular people wanting to be coached by us, and I'll be honest with you guys, when you're dealing with coaching and stuff like that, and consulting, and you're traveling all over, it gets hectic. And I know some people, hey, be honest, I don't always able to get to my email and respond to every single message. I also cannot coach every single person that wants me to coach them one-on-one, and that's why we have the different video series and the conference calls and stuff like that, and we allow people to ask questions and stuff like that. But I cannot. It's physically impossible for me to try to talk to everyone or coach everyone. And I've trained other people to do the same thing that I'm doing. So if you want to get the training is available. Can you get with me? It's harder to get with me, and let's being honest, it's harder to get with me because of that. Am I trying to be out of touch? No, I'm just not trying to die, if that makes sense. I would never get any sleep. It's physically impossible. When people know that you got a particular asset, or you got a particular voice, and it makes sense, and as you develop yourself as a coach or as a consultant, you get the same thing. You're gonna start building up a crowd of people that want to hear from you. And if you can be 7 different places at the same time, you want to utilize technology to do that. You don't want to have to drill yourself into the ground in order to satisfy everyone else, and because you kill yourself in the end. There's not that many hours in a day. So for those, don't get upset. And if you email me, I am going to get in contact with you. Someone definitely from my staff will reach out to you, and if you decide that you want to really talk to me one-on-one, we'll try to work something out with the schedule. But that's not something that I can do widespread. And I just tell people honestly, some people try to hide that and say, oh yeah, man, and you lie and you hurt people's feelings, and because they think that you just don't want to talk to them. It's just that I can't talk to everyone. I mean, you try doing it. Try talking to 1,000 people in a day and tell me how it went. Okay, meaning I'm not talking about, hey, how you doing conversation. I'm talking about taking 30-40 minutes of your time talking to someone. And you obviously, when you get in a conversation, it's not proper. Just, hey, I got to stop right there, I got to go. It's not me. So I'm not going to just cut someone off. So every conversation someone really talks to me and starts expressing some concern, we're liable to be there an hour, 2 hours, sometimes 3 hours. So, and that's what my job is. I'm a coach. I'm trying to help, but I'm only a human being as well. So, with that being said, hey guys, getting ready to sign out, man. I hope that video's kind of went a little longer. I hope that helped you out with those that's trying to establish their own consulting business, those that's in business doing services or whatever like that. I hope that helped you. Hope that brings you some promise. Hey guys, talk to you later. This is Coach signing out. Talk to you later. Bye bye now.